It's Patrick Hutzel from IntensiveCareHotline.com, where we instantly improve the lives for families of critically ill patients in intensive care, so that you can make informed decisions, have peace of mind, real power, real control, and so that you can influence decision making fast, even if you're not a doctor or a nurse in intensive care. In last week's blog, I talked about how to make meaning when your loved one is critically ill in intensive care. You can check out last week's blog by clicking on the link below this video. In this week's blog, I want to talk about how to talk to the intensive care team with impact. Before I get into today's topic, I want to share a quote with you that I wrote on today's topic, and the quote says, "Most people walk through life believing that they can't impact the people around them. This often starts in our personal relationships, families, friends, work, etc. And it's also often a belief that we get from our families and friends if we hang out with the wrong crowd. I certainly didn't get told from my family that I could make an impact on other people or even impact the world. This set of false beliefs, as well as limiting beliefs, didn't serve me well for a long time, and I walked through the world believing that I couldn't have the impact that I wanted in my life. Through not wanting to give up, and also by meeting and listening to the right mentors, I slowly but surely realized over time that I can have an impact on anyone that I want, whether it be in my personal or professional life. It was clearly a limiting belief that I falsely held in my mind, and eventually I could turn this limiting belief into a strength by making an impact on other people." If your loved one is critically ill in intensive care and you are failing to make an impact, on the intensive care team, you are probably and most likely copying what the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care are doing, who don't make informed decisions, who don't have peace of mind, don't get control, don't get power, and don't get influence. Instead, you and your family mustn't be intimidated by the perceived power and by the perceived authority of the intensive care team. You must confidently and consciously ask for what you want. Make no apologies for it, and have the guts and the belief to stand up for what you want, irrespective of the challenges you are facing. Do what the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care do, who make no informed decisions, who have no peace of mind, no control, no power, and no influence, and you'll get what the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care get, which is no respect, and they will forever be subject to the intensive care team's hidden agenda and not their own agenda. Follow what I teach, believe in yourself and in what you want, and you will very quickly distinguish yourself from the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care. You will certainly make an impact, and you will get the results that you, your family, and your critically ill loved one deserves. So, let's get into today's topic. The number of families of critically ill patients in intensive care that visit IntensiveCareHotline.com is by far exceeding my expectations. Therefore, first of all, I want to say a big thank you. It doesn't even matter how you find us, whether you'll find us via Google, Bing, or Yahoo, or any of the other search engines, whether you visit us directly or you find us through Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Our reach is getting bigger and bigger, and we make more and more of an impact. Thank you for all your support and feedback. I know we are certainly making a tremendous positive impact on the lives of families of critically ill patients in intensive care. I didn't know whether it would work out when I first came up with the idea of my IntensiveCareHotline.com blog. However, after nearly 20 years intensive care nursing experience in 3 different countries, where I literally worked with thousands or even tens of thousands of critically ill patients and their families, my gut was telling me that there is a massive need for support, guidance, counsel and consulting for families in intensive care, and my gut was right. Fast forward, now we have an endless string of visitors coming to our website. We have an endless string of questions coming through. We sell ebooks as well as my time over the phone or via email, and I know we are making a huge positive impact on the lives for families of critically ill patients in intensive care. It still boggles my mind, however, to find that most families of critically ill patients in intensive care, in fact 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care, continue to fail communicating effectively with the intensive care team. They still hold on to false beliefs that they can't make an impact. They still hold on to be wrongly intimidated by the intensive care team's perceived power and perceived authority. Most families of critically ill patients in intensive care continue to be too timid and too shy when it comes asking for what they want for their critically ill loved one. They still believe that they can't make an impact, let alone make informed decisions, get peace of mind, get control, get power, and get influence. By not asking for what you want when your loved one is in one of the following heartbreaking, difficult, and challenging situations, where your loved one is either very unstable and in a very critical condition, or your critically ill loved one might be in a life-threatening situation. They may not be waking up after an induced coma, or they may be in intensive care for long-term treatments and long-term stays, including long-term ventilation, or your loved one may be having a severe or traumatic head or brain injury, or your loved one may be threatened with an NFR, not for resuscitation, or DNR, do not resuscitate order, or your loved one may be in a situation where the intensive care team suggests a withdrawal of treatment or a limitation of treatment as being quote-unquote in the best interest for your critically ill loved one, or your loved one may even be approaching the end of life in intensive care. But you must remember that in any of those aforementioned situations that you are putting yourself and your critically ill loved one at high risk of not getting the best and up-to-date care and treatment. In this day and age where intensive care is a multi-billion-dollar per year industry, you can't afford to be sitting on the sidelines and passively watch what the intensive care team is doing or isn't doing. But you must take action, take full responsibility for your communication, make an impact, and also take full responsibility for your actions and outcomes. Now, if you are watching or listening to this, chances are that you are frustrated with the way the intensive care team is communicating with you, or you may be frustrated by the lack of communication from the intensive care team. The fact of the matter is that if you are watching this or listening to this, that you are frustrated one way or another, and that your strategies simply aren't working. I also can't believe how little belief families of critically ill patients in intensive care have to get what they want, which is confirming to me that the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care who make no informed decisions have no peace of mind, no control, no power, and no influence. Whenever I counsel or consult families in intensive care over the phone, over Skype, or via email, I'm always astonished and how unaware and almost blind they are to the agenda of the intensive care team. Remember, intensive care teams have agendas that go way beyond your critically ill loved ones' care and treatment, as well as their diagnosis and their prognosis. Again, Intensive care being a multi-billion-dollar per year industry means that the stakes are extremely high for intensive care teams to achieve and accomplish goals that go way beyond your critically ill loved one's diagnosis and prognosis, as well as care and treatment. If you stay unaware of what's happening behind the scenes in intensive care, you'll become a victim of what's happening behind the scenes in intensive care without you knowing how to turn things around. But beyond that, and first and foremost, is by you changing your communication style with the intensive care team so that you can have an impact, so that you can make informed decisions, get peace of mind, have control, power and influence. And it really simply starts with your beliefs and self-confidence. Don't believe or do what the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care are doing, who make no informed decisions, who have no peace of mind, have no power, no control and no influence. Discover what you need to discover here with me at intensivecarehotline.com, and then powerfully communicate with impact to the intensive care team what you've learned. Ask for what you want in no uncertain terms, and take full responsibility for your actions, outcomes and results. Also, become aware of your body language, and I wrote an article and I made a video about body language for families in intensive care, and you can check it out below this video in a link. And that's where the 99% of the families of critically ill patients in intensive care who make no informed decisions, who have no peace of mind, no control, no power and no influence are falling down. They're falling down in mobilizing their internal and external resources in order to get what they want. And they're also falling down by not doing their own research. They are too afraid. They are too afraid and too timid to ask the right questions and to also ask the difficult questions. Again, you can find all the questions and all the answers here at intensivecarehotline.com, and it's all for free. If you want a fast track, of course, you can purchase some ebooks, videos, podcasts, or get phone or email counseling and consulting with me as well. However, there are plenty of free resources for you to discover and learn whatever it is that you need to learn, and talk to the intensive care team and make an impact, because that's what you want and need. Talking to the intensive care team to make an impact is not wishful thinking. However, it's a skill that you can learn and master. It'll help you on your journey to make informed decisions, get peace of mind, get control, get power and get influence. And I'm here to support you on this journey. So, how can you talk to the intensive care team with more impact, become the best advocate for your critically ill loved one, make informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power and influence quickly whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care? You get to that all-important feeling of making informed decisions, get peace of mind, control, power and influence when you download your free Instant Impact Report now by entering your email below. In your free Instant Impact Report, you learn quickly how to get peace of mind, real power and real control, and how you can influence decision making fast whilst your loved one is critically ill in intensive care. Your free Instant Impact Report gives you in-depth insight that you must know whilst your loved one is critically ill or is even dying in intensive care. Sign up and download your free Instant Impact Report now by entering your email below. In your free Instant Impact Report, you learn how to speak the secret intensive care language, so that the doctors and the nurses know straight away that you are an insider and that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care. In your free report, you will also discover how to ask the doctors and the nurses the right questions. Discover the many competing interests in intensive care and how your critically ill loved one's treatment may depend on those competing interests. How to eliminate fear, frustration, stress, struggle and vulnerability even if your loved one is dying. You get 5 mind-blowing tips and strategies helping you to get on the right path to peace of mind, control, power and influence in your situation. You will get real-world examples that you can easily adapt to your and your critically ill loved one's situation. How to stop being intimidated by the intensive care team and how you will be seen as equals. You'll get crucial behind-the-scenes insights so that you know and understand what's really happening in intensive care and how you need to manage doctors and nurses in intensive care, and it's not what you think. Thank you for tuning into this week's blog, and I'll see you again in another update next week. Make sure you also check out our Your Questions Answered section, where I answer your questions, or send me an email to support@intensivecareoutline.com with your questions. Or you can call me. Find my international phone numbers on the Contacts tab. Also check out our ebook section, where you get more ebooks, videos and audio recordings, and where you can also get one-on-one counseling and consulting with me via Skype or over the phone and via email by clicking on the email and phone counseling tabs on the top of the website. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareoutline.com, and I'll see you again in another update next week.